Greetings, everybody. I'm kind of lagging behind. Let me pull myself together. I'm about to log on to my IG. Awesome. Cool. Fantastic. All right. How is everybody doing? So, I am Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates. You have to forgive me. My hair is looking a whole mess. One of these days, I'm going to get to it. You feel me? But in the meantime, I'm Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I have been promising this almost a week now. Let's see. I guess I'll just go ahead and as greetings, Solis. So as the title implies, I am going to finally give you the results of the temple reading that I did last week during the full moon, which was really good. It was really, really good, actually. And so I'm going to do that today. And then later on today, as you may have seen, I have another live that I'm going to do. I've taken today and tomorrow off. And then tomorrow I'm doing at least one live, but my aim is to do two because, like I told y'all, day four, was it yesterday? Day four yesterday. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, Solitaire Wisdom, T, Rooted 2020, Furiali. Oh, greetings, sis. It's good to see you. That's what's up. Yeah, so as I told you, I think it was maybe yesterday, day before yesterday. Um, so much has happened that I still haven't even caught y'all up on. So much that I want to talk about, but I still haven't gotten to. There's a lot happening in the world, a lot happening in our lives. And so I really want to reestablish a discipline that allows me to post daily if I can. That's my ambition. That is a lot. Yeah, I done taken about, and I'm not exaggerating, I done taken about 30 pages of notes. Even as all the shit that's been going on that y'all know about has been going on, I've still been I've taken about 30 pages of notes since last Monday. So it's a lot. All right. But anyway, like I said, so my name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm going to move through this quick because I got studying that I want to continue to do because I have another live scheduled, I think, for 4 o'clock today on something that I feel like we should discuss. I feel like I shouldn't put it off. But I wanted to do this reading, give you the results of the reading that I pulled for us. So this is the temple reading. This is the first reading of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence of the year 2024, right? So I'm going to be doing a temple reading every month. For those of you, I've been doing readings a lot more lately for people, and I have come to discover that there are a lot of people who have never had the opportunity to, have a divination done for themselves. Nothing, no tarot, no nothing. And so not assuming that people know what divination is, know what the tarot is, know what the I Ching is or anything like that. I've been doing a lot of readings, primarily the tarot, over the last week. And several of the people that I've read for have never had divination done. And if they have, it's been 20 plus years. And so I want to tell you before I get into this reading, I read from the Medicine Woman Inner Guide Deck / workbook or guidebook, the Medicine Woman deck, and the Medicine Woman got the corresponding guidebook. Okay. I've been reading from this deck since 2016. I love this deck. I have 4 other decks. They're wonderful decks, but this deck is the one that, is always most radically impactful. So this is what I pulled from today. I do a 9-card pull when I pull, okay? I'm Oya's daughter. I do a 9-card pull. Most traditional pulls, if it's going to be a long pull, is a 7-card pull. I pull a 9-card pull. So I pulled 9 cards for the temple. We're going to go through those. I'm going to move kind of fast because I don't want this to be an hour and a half, 2-hour thing. If you are interested in getting readings from me, if you are interested in a complete nutritional consult that comes with a diagnosis, nutritional guidelines, exercise regimen, greetings, Salik Ali 1, then you can email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. 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 When you email me, make sure you put in the subject header reading or whatever it is you are interested in. If you're interested in the book club, put book club in the subject header. If you're interested in a reading or a consult, put reading or consult in the header. Releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Okay. For those of you who are on IG, who are tuning in from IG, same thing. Any information that you need from me, because you can't see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen, like those that are tuning in from Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. If you want to know anything about the services I offer, anything about the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, then releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And I usually respond within 24 hours. That being said, housekeeping out the way. Cool. All right. So we're going to talk about the first card. So like I said before, I pulled 9 cards for the temple. The first card that I pulled, for those who are generally knowledgeable about the tarot, is a major arcana. Yes, I do have an IG, Salik Ali 1. My IG is DaughterOfTheFates. Daughter of the Fates _ between each word. Daughter of the Fates _ between each word. Okay. Okay. So the first card, and so what I do when I do readings, because most people that have had readings are more obviously associated or affiliated with knowledgeable of the traditional tarot deck. I read from the Medicine Woman deck, so I will tell you the name of the card itself. I will tell you what card in the traditional deck it corresponds to. So the first card, and I will show you the card. The first card that I pulled, since I'm streaming from 2 different places, show it to my IG folks first. The first card for the pull of the temple, is the Grandmothers, which is the number 18 card, the moon card in the traditional deck. Sorry about that. Let me put that on silent. For those that are on the other things, I'll hold that up for a second so you can see what's happening here in the card. It's the Grandmother's card, which is also the moon card in the traditional deck. Okay. All right. So, the position of this card is the first position, which is essentially where you are right now, or where we are as the temple right now. Okay, this is the Grandmother's card. So there were some key things that I wanted to draw out. This card is about intuition. Okay, so what is the moon? The moon in every mythology on Earth is always associated with the mother. It's always associated with the feminine energy. It's always associated with the phases that women go through, or the phases that we go through. The changing of the seasons is really an ancient tradition associated with our lunar movements, right? And so, So the other thing is if you're talking a more modern interpretation of the moon, especially if you're talking about the traditional tarot deck. I don't use the traditional tarot deck, have never used the traditional tarot deck. It does not resonate with my spirit. It is highly patriarchal. There is nothing about that deck that like elicits something in me spiritually. But in that deck, it's interesting because the moon, especially from like a Freudian, Jungian, psychological interpretation of the moon is always our quote subconscious mind. It's our, our subconscious, it's our dream state, it's our, it's our dark self, it's our shadow self. The moon has always been reduced to something, greetings everybody, greetings Grace, greetings Lolita, greetings Frank. Okay, so the moon has gotten a bad rap is essentially what I'm saying. But this card, the grandmother's card, I'll show it to you again for those that are joining late, because I am moving kind of quick. You see this grandmother spirit, and she's by a tree. You see that? It looks like she may be one with the tree. You understand what I'm saying? And she's sprinkling something on her granddaughter that is in her dream phase, and the moon is looking down. You feel me? This card is about our intuition. The overall theme of this card, like simplifying, and then we'll go into it, is to always trust you. It's to always trust you. You understand? Let me tell you something. I am of the personal belief that while the field of psychology and psychiatry has been helpful in many ways, I am also of the belief that psychiatry and psychology has given us an infinite number of crutches that are presented to us to evade, to turn away from, to push away the very real, necessary inner work that we need to do. And the only way that we can do that is to face our inner self, is to face our subconsciousness, is to embrace our dreams, is to go deeper into the dark. And so this card is about that this card is telling you that even though the world may be what it is and present the way that it does right now, and even as you may have traumas and you may have a past and you may have triggers, that there is still enough housed inherently in your flesh, baby, in your DNA, that allows you the ability to always trust you. This card is about really embracing your own intuition. Stop questioning. Every time something happens, I still have a knee-jerk response where I will do it. And then I have to be like, no, I retract that. Where I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. But then I'll be like, yes, I can believe that happened, because that's what happens. You understand? When you are surrounded by magic, when you are in the presence of miracles, and because you have been conditioned to not trust yourself, to not trust your signs, baby, your signs. Where are those signs? Not in your brain. Those signs are in your flesh, the butterflies in your stomach, your heart palpitations, your changing of breath, the shortness of breath. You understand? The deepening of breath, the goosebumps on your arms, the hair standing up on end. This is you tapping into you. And this card is saying, I am always on your side, spirit. I am always rooting for you, ancestors. I am always looking for the best possible outcome for the group. So you need to trust that when moving out in the world. Trust that I'm always rooting for the best possible outcome for the whole. You understand? This card is powerful. This card also tells us that in trusting our body, there is a discipline that comes with trust. It is not something that we can just start to okay, mantras and manifestations may be helpful, but what has to be paired with mantras and manifestations is action. It's action. Action has to be paired with, I believe that I can. You know what I'm saying? Action has to be paired with, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Action has to be partnered with, I'm going to attract X, Y, and so-and-so. Action. Not only just blind action, but action that tests. See, action helps us to always discern in a moment, if an idea that we still hold on to is useful going forward, or if this is an idea, once I have tested the idea through action, that I can leave in the past. It's not applicable for this period that I'm going into. It does not apply to the me that I am now. I've evolved. And so this belief, this idea that I held for a long time, even from childhood, it no longer applies. Action is the thing that strengthens discernment. This action this action necessary for the strengthening of discernment is what allows us to begin this practice of trusting our intuition, trusting our instincts, trusting us against our conditioning, because all of our conditioning is constantly, perpetually teaching us that we cannot trust ourselves, that we cannot trust our flesh, that we cannot trust us, that we have to look outside for an answer. We have to look outside for a solution. We have to look elsewhere for an analysis, that we cannot trust us. Action that is constantly testing ideas, old and new, strengthening discernment to always be able to analyze, is this idea something that is of use to me? Is this idea something of benefit to the whole, myself included in the whole? Is this idea that I carry, or that I have learned, this new idea that I have learned, is this something that is going to assist in my evolution or stay the process, hold up progress? But it is always the action. It is always the action that helps us determine in a moment, right? Whether an idea that we hold on to or we've been exposed to is going to grow us, is going to move us forward, is going to assist in our evolutionary process. Once we are in the practice, the actionable practice of discerning, analyzing, while we're analyzing, while we're actively in this process, our body will say, yes, that's a good idea. How does our body tell us that? We'll get goosebumps. Oh, yes, that was awesome, right? We'll get butterflies in our stomach. Our heart rate will go up. We'll get a rush. You hear how we get a rush in our head sometimes? You'll hear people say that. The hairs on the back of our neck will stand on end, right? These are ways that our body is always looking to make a connection with what we hold up here, looking to affirm or reject whatever we are analyzing in real time all the time. How are we analyzing it? Through our senses, through our sight, through our sound, through our smell, through our taste, through our touch. We're constantly evaluating. And our flesh is fighting like hell against our conditioning to tap in, to say, yes, that's a good idea. Yes, you're on the right track. Oh, no, pump the brakes. That's that bullshit. That's that old shit from the past. That's your conditioning. Pump the brakes on that. You feel me? Our body, our flesh is what informs us all the time of what is right and wrong action on our part. Okay? There was a point that I was getting to in saying that about the actionable process and why it's important. It's because in the process, which is the action, in the process of always analyzing old and new ideas, the discernment comes through action, testing in the real world these ideas. It's not enough, especially this period that we're going into, to continue to say, I believe, with no action that supports what the fuck you say you believe. Action is required. Discernment only comes through action, applicable action. I believe this because my action, my own personal testing of this belief has yielded this result. You see what I'm saying? And so in this process where you're actionably discerning, testing your ideas, you will get a boost. This is what this card says. You will develop a boost of creative energy. You will get infused with this new creative energy, because now you're not just holding on to untested ideas, you're testing them and you're compartmentalizing them. You're saying, okay, this idea don't apply to me no more. It is not of use for me anymore. It don't serve me no more. You put that on the back burner. You're testing this new, I heard somebody say so-and-so and this and that. I read this study, whatever. Damn, that sounds nice. Let me test the shit before I take it in as a belief that is my own. You understand? And in this process of getting rid of and taking in new ideas, reevaluating old ideas, putting them in their proper place, testing them in action. You understand? You will get an infusion of new creativity. This creative energy, listen, this card says, this is my interpretation of the card. This card says, all energy must be used. All energy must be used. So this infusion of new creative energy that you will receive as a consequence of actionable discernment of that which you hold in your mind, actionable discernment of that which you hold in your head as beliefs. As you start doing this process, tapping in with the flesh, is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea? Right? That if you are not using this new influx or this new infusion of creative energy, if you are not regularly using this energy creatively, is creative energy. How does it want to be used? Creatively. If you are not in a constant process of creation, that can be sexual creative energy, it can be spiritual creative energy, it can be physical creative energy, artistic creative energy, musical creative energy. If it is not being used, if this new influx, greetings T, of creative energy that is coming in only through the actionable process of discerning old and new ideas, then this new energy becomes stagnant. And this new energy that you are calling in, or that is coming to you, if you are not using it as in reciprocity, the way that it's coming in, I'm going to read a quote from this card because I really love this quote. It says, this creative energy that you are receiving is so strong that unless you are using your talents and your abilities creatively in the world, you may begin creating excess in your body in the form of fat or cancer, or even perhaps an entirely new person, a baby. Listen, that shit is deep. What does she mean? That if you do not use your talents and ability creatively in the world, what does that say? To me, it sounded like this. And somebody gonna be mad, but I don't care. Immediately when I read that, I was like, oh my God. Because our vision has been so narrowed as females, because our power has been so diminished as females, because we have been given such limited options of how to live in the world as females, because we have seen that our value is directly tied to some other. As females, it makes sense that in order to be, legitimated by society, that the first thing that we would rush out to do is, quote, make a baby. This card is saying, boo, that's not your true heart's desire. That's not your true heart's desire. Your true heart's desire is to be able to boundlessly use your talents and abilities to create in the world. And because that has been denied you, your knee-jerk response is to create something. And the easiest thing for you to create is another human. I said, oh. Okay. This card was a confirmation for me because I'm not going to go that deep into it, but this card was definitely a much needed confirmation for me. I have been brainstorming like a maniac about what is supposed to happen this year, what I'm supposed to be speaking on, what I'm supposed to be doing, whatever. And I love music. You guys know that my first love on earth has been music. I've been a musician since I was 8. My dad was a musician. Members of his family were musicians. My mom is an artist. I love art, and I especially love music. And so there was a point that I was raising about the music. Oh my gosh, just that quick. Damn. Oh, I remember. Okay. So I was thinking about greetings, balance. I was thinking, it was a random thought. It was really in passing, but I was thinking about how many friends I've had over my lifetime that have been musicians, right? And these musicians, so anybody who knows me knows that greetings, Katie, that I am like obsessed with music. It's an obsession. It's not like, oh, I just love music, and oh, because I'm a musician, I listen deeper than others. No. It's like a straight up, damn near borderline neurotic obsession. So when I have had friends in the past, many who have been exceptional musicians, right? I become their greatest fan. I will. And I always just reduced it to, this my homie. I'm going to support all the shows. I'm going to buy all the things. You feel me? And there's an aspect of that. But then I was watching a documentary, all random. It was recommended on YouTube, about this period of like the 1960s and 70s of so-called famous groupies of the 1960s and 70s of big bands like Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones and David Bowie. And so this documentary was going, in, especially on underage groupies. This documentary was really about the culture, of like, taking advantage of young women. But I was listening to these women who were girls, like underage girls, when they were following these bands. And something struck me, listening to the way they talked, right? Listening to the way that they talked about the bands. It wasn't, for them, it was not about the sex. It was like, I just want to be in this space. I want to be around them. And baby, something struck me like a lightning bolt at the top of my head. It is, let me remind myself, it is a piece that I am going to do. Baby, I'm just writing a note before I forget. But it struck me like a ton of bricks. I said, these girls, what we're looking at is not what we're looking at. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is going to sound unrelated, but I'm telling you it's related. I told y'all not too long ago that with the language that is being used to diagnose a young person, an underage person with gender dysmorphia, right? With the bullet points or the guidelines being used to tell a young person, male or female, that, oh, you're just trans, you have gender dysmorphia, you're just trans. With the language that is being used to, quote, diagnose young people with gender dysmorphia, had this language been mainstream when I was 10, I would have been diagnosed transgender. I'm telling you damn near word for word, things that I have said out of my mouth as a child, trying to understand what was happening to me within the context of my environment. Listening to these young people talk about how they became trans, how they were officially diagnosed as trans, and what the benchmarks for that diagnosis were. If this had been mainstream language when I was 10 years old, I would have been diagnosed trans. And that got me really, really thinking about a lot. It is not to offend or even discredit what somebody might be feeling in their own body, but we cannot separate what is happening socially in our environment and our response to that can contribute to the worldview that we have, and that worldview have a chemical response inside our bodies, right? And so I was listening one day to this one young girl who's like blown up overnight over the last 2 months on YouTube, who is this Black transitioner, female. She was a female to male transitioner who has detransitioned. And so she has actually spent years through her process of getting diagnosed trans, going through partial transition, and then detransitioning, and what that walk through detransition has looked like, a young Black girl. And some of the things that she said, I was like, oh my God, oh my God. Over and over and over, you hear these young people say shit that's damn near verbatim the same. The reason I'm mentioning this in the context of this card, in the context of having babies, in the context of groupies, following rock bands, whatever, especially where females are concerned, I remember when I was a little girl, gender was a non-issue for me until I reached puberty. Even for my parents, the only time gender was an issue was when we went to church and we had to put on a dress. That was the only time. Otherwise, we could go outside and play with all the neighborhood boys. We could ride skateboards. We could ride bicycles. We could climb trees. There was a swamp behind the trailer park where we lived. All the kids would traipse through the swamp, come covered from head to toe in mud. There was no real distinction in our whole community between, quote, the little boys and the little girls who were playing together out in the neighborhood. This distinction did not happen both from the outside and from the inside until I reached puberty. And the way I reached puberty, which was very young, happened overnight. Child, overnight, I had boobies. You understand? And not little bitty baby buds. I had full-on boobs. You feel me? At 11 years old. 10, I started my cycle at 10, and I had boobs by the time I was 11. Full-on, like, boobs at 11. You feel me? People, males that used to be my homies in the neighborhood looked at me different because my body had changed. Adults treated me differently because my body had changed, but nobody was offering an explanation of this imposed transformation that was attached to my being in the world. And that transformation in my being in the world equated to a retraction of freedom. A retraction of freedom came with puberty for me. A retraction of freedom came with puberty for me. The things that I had been able to do without question as just a regular kid, now it's like, oh, you'll hurt yourself. Little girls aren't supposed to do that. All of a sudden, the freedom that I had experienced, that I saw my male counterparts, it continued to experience without question, without breaks. I became envious and I turned in on my body as a consequence. I hated my boobs. From the day I got them until the day I had a breast reduction at 18 years old. I had been talking to my mother about a breast reduction since I was 16 years old. In my young baby mind, that my boobs were the reason that people treated me differently. I'm telling you what it was. That the reasoning of a child, in my mind, my boobs were the reason. Because that was the only obvious change in my body. Yes, I was bleeding from my vajayjay, but my boobs were the obvious change that had everybody treat me differently. And so I did what girls do. I was wearing clothes a couple of sizes too big. Sweatshirts became my regular clothing of choice. Trench coats in the middle of the summer. Wearing my hair in the face. Just trying in any way possible to keep eyes off me. To keep attention off of me. You understand what I'm saying? Freedom. The retraction of freedom was what I experienced as a girl going through puberty. I didn't have the language to understand that, but I was like, God damn, that's what and so as I became obsessed with music and musicians, it is not until I am 48, it is not until now that I'm analyzing my life and analyzing all these things all the time. And I see this documentary about these young girls, 13, 14, 15 years old, sleeping with band members, saying it's not about the sex for us, it's about being in their space. And I was like, well, damn, so much of what they say sounds like what I said, but I was never a groupie in that way. You understand? But I would become obsessed with my favorite local musician and follow them everywhere. And I thought it was just about the talent. It was not. It was about the freedom. When you look at rock stars, when you look at famous, especially male musicians, because we can talk about some shit happening, in, pop culture right now, that does not happen the same way among male performers, among the male famous male musicians. But even when you look at the old heads, Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and all these people, and I'm listening to these girls' language in this documentary, baby. Nothing about their language was like, oh my God, he's so sexy, I just have to have him. It wasn't that. It wasn't that at all, not once. It was, I want to be in their space. I want to be surrounded by them. I want to be in their energy. The same thing that I experienced as a quote little tomboy, which is a fucked up thing to call a girl child, by the way. It's a fucked up thing to call a girl child. It denies girls the opportunity to be fully embodied, to reduce them to tomboys because they like doing the same thing they see their male counterparts doing, which is playing freely, playing, right? The same thing that I was experiencing as a quote little tomboy girl is the same thing that these girls were expressing in a different way. That the only way that they could feel important, the only way that they could taste power, the only way that they could experience the freedom that they saw these men on stage have access to unlimitedly, boundlessly, was to be tools of exploitation for them. They didn't see what was happening to them as exploitation. Many women wrote about it. I didn't feel like I was being exploited. I mean, I can understand now, like looking back, why it was probably messed up from those looking in. But what these girls were seeking was freedom that had been retracted from them, freedom that had been denied them, baby. Freedom that had been denied them, power that had been denied them. So what do? We become mothers. I'm trying to give y'all a word. We become mothers because it is the only time in our whole lives that we feel that we have power over something else instead of something else having power over us. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. These young especially young female to male transitioners, saying, after I detransitioned, I realized I was just a lesbian, or I was just attracted to females, right? Or I just didn't trust males. Whatever it is, the language that they use with these psychologists who diagnose them as, quote, having incarnated in the wrong body, gender dysmorphia. So many of them have said words verbatim that I have said out of my mouth. I was a kid, and I used to pray over my boobs that they would just go away. I know what body self-loathing is. And it was never even as much about me, quote, being big or fat. It was always about this unwanted aggressive attention that came to me as a consequence of being 11 years old with a full rack. Child, I couldn't double dutch no more. Because all the women on my daddy's side of the family are extremely top heavy women. You understand? And so, baby, she said it right here in this card. This shit hit me today. She said, look, if you do not have healthy, ongoing, regular outlets for your talents and your abilities to be expressed creatively all the time, you will find yourself beginning to create excess body in the form of fat, in the form of cancer, in the form of an entirely new person like a baby. Because you ain't got no outlet for this creative energy that is holed the fuck up in you. And you have been denied the space perpetually to let it out, to express it. Child, this card was a whole word. You feel me? This card was a whole word. You understand? So yeah, that's the grandma's card. That's the grandmother's card. I didn't mean to spend 40 minutes on that card, but I had a word. You understand? So the next card, we're gonna move through this quick. I promise we're gonna move through this quick. The next card is the Six of Pipes. So in this deck, the pipes, the suit of the pipes corresponds with the wands. Okay, for those of you who are familiar with the traditional deck. So I'm going to show it to the IG people first. Take a look, take a gander. You feel me? You see the pipe down there on the floor by her foot. So there's a deer. There's a little pipe on the floor, like a little blowing pipe there. You understand? She's befriending a little deer. You feel me? That's the card. Okay, the Six of Pipes. This card is about acceptance. Okay. Yep. This card is about acceptance. Let's see. Interesting. I'm going to tell you. Fascinating. What's fascinating is when I was preparing to do this reading for you guys, I actually read the wrong card. I read for this position, I read the wrong card. And so I am this for those of you who've just asked what deck I'm using, it's the Medicine Woman deck. And this is the guidebook that goes with it. It's the Medicine Woman deck. This is the guidebook that goes with it. But I am sensing that is the card that I need to share with you, because I pulled the Six of Pipes, but I prepared with the Five of Pipes. I may just give them to you both. The Six of Pipes, yes, that's what I'm going to do. The Six of Pipes, let me see if I can find the Five of Pipes really quick in this deck. The Six of Pipes is about acceptance, right? It is about accepting who you are and who you are in this moment. So this card it's also a really important card, because for a lot of people, it is very difficult for us. One, this card tells you that you have to learn in this moment to accept compliments, that people are seeing that you have changed. It is time for you to fully embrace that you have grown, you have changed, you have evolved. And sometimes, because our internal narrative is so self-judgmental, so self-harmful, our conditioning breeds that, it becomes difficult for us to accept, like, yeah, is this really the new me? Or am I tripping? You understand? Am I really evolved? Have I really had a breakthrough? You understand? Or am I just gassing myself up? We have a hard time even taking compliments from others when they see that something is different, even without articulating that thing that they see. They can see something has changed, something is different. And this card is saying it is a time for you to actually fully sit in and rest in this time of victory for yourself. And now again, this reading is for the whole temple. Okay. But this may apply. Man, this IG shit. I'm gonna pause for a second because my IG is frozen. I don't know what the fuck. I may have to stop it. Damn. Yeah, it's not unfreezing. Damn, that sucks. So I'm gonna pause because I'm gonna relog back onto my IG. That is just, it's just trash. It's just trash. Because there were several people that were logged on. I want them to be able to get the benefit of the reading. But so I'm gonna do both of those cards since that's interesting. I never do that, but since that card came up and it was impactful, I'm gonna do them both. I will say this though, while I'm waiting for this thing to load, is in this deck, greetings, I'm back live on IG. So for those of you, IG like froze and wouldn't unfreeze, so I just logged back on. So those of you who were listening, I didn't go any further. So what I was going to say about this deck, I've told you that the pipes, the suit of the pipes corresponds with the wands in the traditional deck. But the thing that is really great about the pipes in this deck is just like the wands, because in the wands, you'll see sometimes like the magic wand, or you'll see like a staff, like a walking wand. They serve the same purpose with different functions, right? The pipes in this deck is the same way. You have the blowing pipes. You'll see somebody playing a flute or like the blowing pipes, but it's also the energy of the smoky pipe. So now a live stream on Yard Stream or StreamYard is going to start acting up. I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, so it serves multiple functions. I don't think there are any other pipes, but you should just keep that in mind for the future. Okay. So both of these cards, she's holding a blowing pipe. The first one is acceptance. And what I was saying is this card really does speak to you about how, despite whatever issues you may have had in the past, this is a period for you to really rest in accepting that this is a new phase for you. You've earned being in this place, and that you have the tools and the resources around you to move forward, right? But part of moving forward is accepting victory, accepting that you are responsible for how you've gotten to this place, and accepting acknowledgement from others. When others see, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see you. Okay, I see what you're doing. I see you did that. You earned that recognition, and you have to be able, in order to continue to evolve, to accept recognition, to accept those compliments that are just affirming that you are on the right track in this walk that you're in. Okay, that's essentially the energy of that card, right? The deer represented in this card that I showed you guys earlier. The deer in this deck is always a representation of those ideas, those beliefs that you hold, quote, dear in your heart. These are the things that are important to you. So whenever you see the little deer, it is talking about whatever the card meaning is itself. It is always acknowledging those things that are important to you, right? Prioritizing those things that are important to you. So the one that I actually read for this reading that I didn't realize was the card I had not drawn is the Five of Pipes, right? And this card's meaning is allure through opposition. So I want you to look at the face of this card, right? She's got her little pipe in her hand. See the little deer in the woods. See the thick woods that she's in. It's like she's in a forest. Right? There's the deer. What did I say? Those things that she holds dear in her heart, those things that are important to her. It says allure through opposition. Allure through opposition. So what does it look like? The deer is in the forest and she's playing the flute, trying to draw the deer near. Doesn't that look like it? Look like she's playing to the deer. She's trying to draw the deer closer to her through these thick woods, this opposition. Allure through opposition is the name of the card. Okay. Allure through opposition. And the meaning of this card is great. I've been talking to y'all about this for 2 weeks now, as a matter of fact. That's why I was like, I have to read this card to you, because I've been talking to you guys for 2 weeks. Remember, I told y'all the story last week about how I ended up in the emergency room on Friday, and the subsequent chain of events that happened as a consequence of me going to the hospital, and how that was a lesson that I needed to learn. I needed to tie up this loose end in this relationship. But it wasn't about some ill will about the relationship. It was about recognizing that this period that we are in, this stage that we are in, it may be, the card says here, your vision has brought a portion of your dream to you, but not all forces are yet aligned with your dream. Your mind may wander from your vision. You may have friends or relatives who will disapprove. The world may not currently accept what you have to offer. It is time to face these things and lure the universe to accommodate you. Y'all hear what I just said? Okay. What, y'all hear what I just said? It says, look, y'all, let me show y'all the card again. There may be all kinds of opposition presenting itself. The opposition is the woods. Maybe all kinds of opposition presenting itself to you in this moment. Why? Because your vision has led you to where you are. What did the previous card say? You are right where you are supposed to be. You have done that work to evolve to where you are right now. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. But this card is saying, because you have arrived where you're supposed to be, yes, you may get, like the previous card said, you may get people who are saying, yes, girl, I see you. I see the transformation you have made. I see how your life has improved. I see how you have evolved. And you need to accept that there may be others around you, because you are new, because you present differently, because you have evolved, who stage opposition. The trees, baby, the forest is the opposition in this picture. You feel me? And it is because they cannot yet see, right? It says your friends and family. It doesn't say they don't love you. It just says they don't approve because they don't understand. They don't have your vision. Your vision is your own. They can't see what you see. They don't have their sight. What's clear for them is a mystery. What's clear for you is a mystery to them. You understand? It says your friend, you may have friends and relatives who disapprove. The world, as you know it right now, may not currently accept what it is you have to offer. This is the opportunity. This is the time for you to woo the universe. The universe in this picture is the deer. The universe in this picture is what the vision is. What ideas she holds in her heart and mind that she perfectly sees herself aligned to create and fulfill. The card says, in these moments where doubt may become an issue because your people, they don't understand. You feel me? You got naysayers in the corner. You feel me? You got friends that you really love, but they ain't with it. They can't see clear yet. You understand? It says in these moments, this is the time for you to woo the universe to accommodate you. To accommodate you, because she will. You understand? Oh, if you always hold in your mind and heart the highest good of the all. You understand? Child, the card says, if you keep in your heart and mind the good of the whole, the vision that you hold dear, you don't have to see before you begin to enter into the unknown. What did the first card say? The first card said that it is necessary for us to always be moving, taking actionable steps to either confirm or reject what it is we say we believe. Action is what allows us the discernment to say, to keep what we say we believe. okay, this belief don't apply to me no more. It's old, it's outdated, it's antiquated. You understand? The second card says you're on the right track, but the right track will not always win you from the people around you what you think it should. This is the moment that you enter into the unknown with confidence because you know what it is. Your vision is true. It's right. Why? Because every time you make moves, you always hold in your spirit the good of the whole. How is this going to contribute to the world I want to create? Isn't that what we're always talking about? You understand? So this card says, holding the highest good that you can imagine in your mind, confidently enter into the unknown. Whether you are engaged in a hunt, in the primeval forest, or entering into a new marriage or a career, you are stepping alone into a force field much larger than yourself. You are seeking only one prize, the cherished central key to your dream. You understand? It says your fears will rise up. Your expectations that others should listen. I love this card. It says that your expectations that others should already be attuned to your needs will be confronted. That ain't no comfortable shit. What does that statement mean? What am I always telling y'all, especially those of you who have reached out to me, who have said you are new in your spiritual walk. You are new in consciousness, if you will. You have just, quote, left the church. I've had several of you this week tell me that. How do I move forward? I just left the church. You feel me? What I always warn of this. There is a tendency that we all have gone through, if we're honest. When our brains was cracked the fuck open for the first time, there is this tendency that because the information that we were receiving resonated with us so intensely, and we got it so quickly, there is a tendency for us to condemn or shun or shame others when the information doesn't resonate with them in the same way or at the same speed. There is a tendency and if we don't check that tendency, we have a tendency to become elitists. We have a tendency to become spiritual elitists or get involved in spiritual cliquism that has us look down at others because if I could get it, they can get it. I don't understand what people don't understand. If I can understand this information, they can understand this information. This card warns against that. It says your expectations that others should be attuned to your needs will constantly be confronted. Humility allows you to be in right way when dealing with people who have not yet gotten to where you are. Love allows you to give them the grace to drop the seed of information and keep it moving without being emotionally attached to their response. Either it's for them or it ain't. Either they're ready for it now or they're not. You done what you need to do. It says use your gifts, use your talents. Again, a nod back to the grandmother card. Constantly use your talents, your gift, and your abilities creatively. Do you understand? Pull out the pipes and blow your life's breath into them so that you can give your all to the all. This is the ego's battle to transcend its own boundaries. Okay? Okay. This card says the work that you do right now, how you handle people in this next stage of evolution, is always going to be centered in this therapy stage of relationship, your relationship to your own ego. Your relationship to your own ego. This period is about challenging the boundaries that your ego has created. Do you understand? This time is a time to play. Attachment to ego is not, this is a great quote. Attachment to ego is not just self-centeredness, but can be a stubborn holding on to the old and less creative you. Free yourself from those ego boundaries. Soar beyond your old limitations. There are wonderful things you wish to do if you take the chance. This is a powerful card. That's why I had to read that card to y'all, even though that wasn't the card I pulled. That's the reason I had to read that card to y'all. Because it's important. We will constantly be challenged. Now, again, this card may speak to you personally, and that is acceptable. This card is the reading for the temple. So this is some highly ambitious shit that we have set upon ourselves to do. This is some highly ambitious shit that we have set as a task for ourselves to do. Those of you who are rocking with the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, this is some really radical shit we have set a course to create this year. You feel me? And so this card is warning. This card is telling us your vision is correct. The path that you are on is correct. Your intentions are genuine. You are on the precipice, but as you evolve through different stages that are required, learning through different stages that are required, be mindful that your ego, which will translate to fear, your ego that will translate to expectations of others, your ego that will limit your movement, is the thing that you always have to be at work with. Always checking the shit out of your ego. Some of you, I think I told y'all a story. It might have been alive. It might have been the book club. I don't remember. But about Shango. And the only way Shango as the king was able to become his God self is through the action of slaying his own ego. Okay? Why is that paramount? This analogy that I just made with Shango, being able to become his God self through the slaying of his own ego. It is because we just entered last week, Pluto just entered Aquarius, who is Shango. This is the work of the period, this card. This is the work of the period. Aquarius says, I will fight on your behalf. What is Aquarius in astrology? The revolutionary who fights on behalf of the people, who fights against the system, who fights on behalf of the system, of the people. But also Aquarius says, baby, all along the way, check your ego. What does the first card say? Actionable discernment is what always strengthens our intuition in every moment. Is this knee-jerk response that I'm having to this thing, like the sister that I told you about on Friday? I could have went the fuck off. My discernment allowed me the opportunity to say what she is expressing and what she experienced is exemplary of people being burdened, energetically burdened, spiritually burdened, emotionally burdened. And what she was lashing out against was not at me. I could take it personal and go the fuck off, but that wasn't the lesson that I needed to learn in that interaction with that woman. That was not the lesson for me, was to jump the fuck off. You understand? Discernment, action, actionable discernment is what strengthens intuition. You understand? So that card is powerful. Damn, this is going to take forever. I started this at 1. I was certain I was going to be done in an hour. That is not likely. We are only 3 cards in. Okay. So the next card is the 8 of Stones. The stones in the traditional deck is the 8 of Stones. In the traditional deck is the pentacles or the coins. I'm reading all of you guys' comments. I appreciate the comments. I'm glad these cards are speaking to y'all. I feel that it did me too when I pulled them. Yes. So the stones suit corresponds to the pentacles or the coins in the traditional deck. So I'm just going to show you again the card for a moment. I'm going to talk fast because I really want to get through this reading, because like I said, I have another live that I might have to reschedule, but it's set at 4. Okay. So you see the sun looks like it's setting in the background. She's got all kind of wares around her. You understand? She's making something. She's got a basket of fruit behind her. A lot going on in this card. She's crafting on a big giant boulder, right? A lot going on in this card. This is the Eight of Stones. This card is simply put, and again, I want to reiterate all throughout this thing, this is the reading of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. This reading applies to anyone listening. If something speaks to you from this card, then from this book, from this read, then it applies to you. But this card is the overall reading of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm saying that because this card is about refining your craft, refining your skills, refining your craft. In the refining of your craft, this that's pretty much it. In the refining of your craft, it is this card is probably my personal spanking. I'll be honest. On two different fronts. I was just telling y'all yesterday, like I really have been mindful that because my work schedule has been so busy since we entered the new year, that I have not been posting as diligently as I have in the past. In the past, I'd gotten up to close to 6 days a week of posting. And that has not been the case since I took the second job. But I really want to get back on that discipline. I recognize that it's necessary, especially given the year that we're in, especially given the proliferation of noise fronting as news in the world, that there has to be an opposing voice in the world, right? So that's one aspect of refining my craft. And the other aspect, child, is the more laborious aspect, is the daily task of trying to finally get establish the presence of the temple. So last night, I'll just let you know, I submitted, it's like an approval process before you can do a podcast, but I did submit my proposal for a podcast and I'm waiting for approval. So hopefully within the week, we will have the approval for the podcast for the temple. But it's like that kind of like mountain high, tasks that need to be executed. So I'm not even going to go into that deep. It's pretty straightforward, right? Is refining your crafts. This is the temple. Okay. The next card is the exemplar of stones, which corresponds to the king of pentacles in the traditional deck. Okay. Let me take a drink really quick. Yes, this is a great card. I'm gonna show you all a card. The exemplar of the stone. So you see what she's sitting in? She's sitting in a harvest basket, right? She's an elder. She looks like she's an elder. She's holding some corn. She looks happy. She looks at peace. Okay, for those of you on the other stream, she's sitting in a harvest basket. She looks happy. She looks like an elder woman. She's holding some corn and she looks peaceful. You see her face? She looks happy. She looks peaceful. This is the exemplar of stones. So each card comes with a title, which I've been reading to you. The title for this card is "The Earth is Eternally Fertile." The earth is eternally fertile, right? The message for this card is that right now there is plenty for all. There is plenty for all. That to me is the takeaway of this card, is there is always enough. There is always enough. Scarcity is a monstrous lie. Scarcity is a monstrous myth. imposed on human beings. There is always enough. If there are 8 billion people on the planet, it is because 8 billion people incarnated on the planet and are supposed to be on the planet. They're here because they're supposed to be, or they wouldn't be here. They would not be here. If they weren't supposed to be, they wouldn't be here. Now, that does not mean there are not political and economic and sociological, contributors to their being. I ain't trying to get that deep. I'm talking about the essence of the card. If there are 8 billion people on the planet, Mother Earth said, I can support these 8 billion people. There is always enough. So when it doesn't appear that there is enough, then we have to be asking different questions. But scarcity is a monstrous lie. It is a myth. It is a political instrument, is what it is. In the spirit of this card, she says that the earth is bountiful, always bountiful, especially if we work within the principles that she's laid out. What is she talking about? Cyclicity. To make that simple, she's talking about where she says, if we work according to her principles. What are the principles? The cycles, the seasons, planting in a certain season to reap in a certain season, to rest in a certain season, to expend more energy in a certain season. Right? I did a whole live on that a few months ago when we experienced the time change, how this is a period historically for the greater portion of the human epoch where we pumped the brakes when the days got shorter, when the days got colder, when the dark got longer. Globally, we intuitively knew to pump the brakes, to sleep longer, to rest more, right? To prepare for these longer nights and shorter days and colder days through cyclical planting and harvesting. You understand? And now the world has been flipped absolutely the fuck upside down. So as soon as September hits, it's like full speed ahead. Woo, full speed ahead. After we spent the summer resting, as soon as school starts, it's full speed ahead. This holiday, this holiday, this holiday, this holiday, this holiday. I got to raise more money. I got to work extra hours. So I make sure I have enough money for Halloween. I make sure I have enough money for Thanksgiving. I make sure I have enough money for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is you do. And make sure to have enough money for the New Year's. It's like wide open from September until January 1st, right? She's saying we have to remember to work according to the principles that the mother has set. And if we do that, she guarantees that there will always be enough for every inhabitant on the planet, right? She said, and this learning of her principles does not require us to work harder or work longer. That's what it says right here. If we work based on the principles, if we work cyclically in harmony, in universal reciprocity with the mother, it will not require that we work harder or we work longer. Do you understand? And she says, in order to understand, I love this card because it just reminds us to be back in our body and what that means, what it means, what is the exercise, what is the actionable discernment required to come back into our body. Because what did the first card say? What did I tell you about the first card? Actionable discernment does what? Strengthen our intuition. Actionable discernment strengthens our intuition. So what is the actionable discernment required by this card, who is calling on us to ensure that the earth is always plentiful? The call is to remember, is to recall how to work according to her principles. in cyclical harmony with her principles to ensure that there is plenty for all. So she says, this may require, I'm going to quote, remembering or recalling the principles of the mother. It may require us to spend some time understanding and actually engaging in renewable energy, learning how to recycle resources, spending more time learning about reincarnation, doing acts of rejuvenation, sleeping outside, going camping, right? Reaching optimal physical vitality. Okay? She says, look at aging as autumn's glory and winter's sleep. Whatever you put into the body now prepares it for its next life. You understand? And then I will read this last quote. The ancestors are alive within us. Their bodies have become the stones, the soil, the plants. Listen, our food, ourselves. Our ancestors are alive in us because they're all around us. Their bodies have become the stones, the soil, the plants, our food, ourselves. We shall become our grandchildren. We shall become our grandchildren. We are the future. We shall listen. I love this quote. Oh my God. We shall live again in the future that we are creating right now. Contemplate this magnificent cycle. She says, we are our grandchildren. What does that mean? The Africans say when a baby is born, they say, welcome. It's an ancestor return. She says here, we are the future. Are we creating the world that we want to reincarnate in? We shall live again in the future that we are creating this moment. Always contemplate this magnificent cycle. I love this card so much. I will go on. That is the exemplar of stones. There is always enough, says the exemplar of the stones. Are we taking the action? Are we making the actionable discernment necessary to ensure that there is always enough? You understand? Okay. Okay. So the next card is another major arcana. It is the blend card, which in the traditional deck is known as the temperance card. It is the blend card. So I'll show it to the IG folks first. It's a beautiful card. Show it to those that are on the stream. This is the temperance card in the traditional deck, otherwise known for this deck as the blend card. Look at this card. What is she doing? What does she have in her hands? There's always nods to the suit. She's got a cup pouring into a bowl because the bowls in this deck, the suit of the bowls is the cups in the traditional deck. So she's pouring from a cup into a bowl. See the waterfall behind her? This is the blend card. I love this card. Okay. So this card is just what it sounds like. It's integration. Okay. I love it. I love it. So in this card, you see this magnificent rainbow in the back, right? See this magnificent rainbow in the back? I'm going to read some of this card to you because there's so much of it that I'll probably read the whole card just because I love it. Okay. The affirmation for this card is this: the inner alchemist. I'm going to hold the card up while I read it to you. The inner alchemist, that's you, mixes everything I have ever known, thought, or said into a perfect blend. Order is easily bestowed on my life experience. The inner alchemist mixes everything I've ever known, thought, or said into a perfect blend. Okay? That is that's the affirmation for the card. The card speaks. I am the rainbow calling you to relax, child. Integrate. Okay? Relax. Calling on you to relax and allow the perfect blending of all that is within you. I am the mixer of the beautiful elixir. My colors create all that is in your world. In you, I work to create a clarity of thinking that will lead you to the ultimate union with the one. I combine your ideas, your ideals, your experiences into an arrow of truth and aim it at the only target. Let me do my work. Yo, let me do my work. Everything in the universe is a vibration. A vibration can be changed by your mental state, meditation, concentration, reflection, relaxation, all change your vibration. This is the divine mixing, blending, and tempering of your experience. Man, I love this deck so much. Come on in. You have acted, you have tried. Now you must integrate the experience with everything else that is you. I help you to see where it all fits, how things have been changed and how they can be used. Remember, experience is the test of your ideas. Child, listen, we went all the way back to the grandmother's card. We done went all the way back to the grandmother's card. It says experience. What do the grandmother's cards say? Actionable discernment is what strengthens intuition. This card here says once you have the action and the experience, rest, relax, meditate so that you can process the information that you have, the new information that you have learned from the actionable discernment of the grandmother's card, strengthening your intuition. Here it says, this is the divine mixing, blending, tempering of your experience. You have acted, you have tried. Now you must integrate the experience with everything else that is you. I have helped you to see where it all fits and how things have been changed and how they can be used. Remember, experience is the test of your ideas. What did I say? It's not enough to say, I believe. And I'm tired of hearing it. It is not enough to say, I believe. It is not enough to say, I believe. What are the actions that you have taken in the world that have stilled and confirmed, solidified through action, through tests of ideas? What you say you believe is tried and true in action. You understand? It says, experience is the test of ideas. In your practice, back to the grandmother's card, shoot at some definitive mark, except no theories until you have tested them out. What did I say? Damn near verbatim about the grandmother's card. You will have old ideas that you need to test and analyze. Discern, are they useful for me in this new me that I am right now? Or is this something that only applied to my past? These new ideas that I'm constantly confronted with, do I just accept them blindly? Or do I actionably discern what is for me, what does not apply to me? And me trusting my flesh will help me to understand what new information is coming is for me or does not apply to me. Here, the blend card reaffirms what we learned all the way in the beginning. You understand? Accept no new theories until you have tested them out. Life is your opportunity to try, not accept. Try, not accept. You understand? Act and then evaluate. Come on. Actionable discernment. Act and then evaluate. Go toward the promise. Go toward the promise at the rainbow's end. You, as an individual, choose your direction, your every action. Yet you are indivisible from the whole. The cosmic will works through you, yet you must assume total responsibility for every thought and action. You are guided. You have a mission and a purpose, yet you function with complete free will as an independent agent. You are constantly channeling universal life, the universal life force into the world through your patterns of thought and image. You are the actor. I am the integrator of your actions. Come on in the room. You are the actor. This is your mama speaking, boo. She said, you are the actor. I am the integrator of your actions. Take time for me. Temperance, the divine blending, happens automatically whenever you relax. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There are 3 of you that I read for this past week. I'm going to just say this. I ain't calling no names. 3 of you watching right now got a reading from me last week, and all across the board with the 3 of you. You feel me? This thing came up. Not this card, but this sentiment. Because your default is to be busy. No matter how much gargantuan shit you got happening in these 3 people that I read for got so many mega things happening in their life. I'm guilty of this thing. Okay. That's why the reading is for everybody watching, not just individuals. If it applies to you, cool. If it don't, leave it. You feel me? This is the reading of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm telling you, I yelped like a hit dog when I read this card. You feel me? Because our default is to be busy. Is if we're resting, we're being lazy. That's our conditioning. If we're resting, we're being lazy. When we do not rest, we do not have the opportunity to reflect, to integrate, to learn, to recall, to draw from experiences, lessons that we were supposed to learn, but we were too fucking busy to learn them. The last statement this card makes is me as divine temperance only happens when you are relaxed. You understand? Listen, the exercise for this card says, take 3 hours off. It ain't even say 3 days. It said, take 3 hours off. Can you do that? Most of you can't, because this card says, take 3 hours off completely. Do not include in those 3 hours preparation time, driving time, or so on. Go away from your usual environment. Can't relax. Most times you can't relax when you're in your house, because when you're in your house, you're surrounded by your shit, and you're surrounded in your brain about task doing. Oh, shoot, I do need to clean my bathroom. Oh, shit, I got to wash the dishes. Damn, I sure need to wash my clothes. Feel me? This card says drive an hour in any direction. Do not include your drive time. Do not include your hike time. Get somewhere and be still completely for 3 hours. Turn off your phone. Turn off your brain. And allow temperance to take over. What do I tell y'all all the time? What's my mantra? I got many mantras, so that's a trick question. One of my main mantras all the time is my most profound epiphanies have come in stillness. You understand? Because our conditioning is too busy. Our conditioning is too busy. Is to busy ourselves, even when we're already busy, even when we're already conducting the work of 10 men, somehow we still do not think in our minds we doing enough. I had a woman tell me she in a matter of 3 months, she got a new home, her kids finally moved out the house, and she got a new job and a new side hustle. And she was like, Beth, there's still so much I want to do. I was like, whoa, pump the brakes. Pump all the brakes. That is a lot that has just happened in 3 months. That's a lot. And you are evading. The busyness a lot of the time is to evade. Child, I'm taking y'all again back to the first card, the grandmother's card. What was the first thing I said about the grandmother's card? See, she's sleeping. Grandmother tree is imparting wisdom on her while she sleeps. Grandmother tree is imparting wisdom on her while she sleeps. What did I say? The name of this card was intuition. The busyness is our conditioning from outside in to prevent us from being intuitive. You understand? It's to prevent us from analyzing our dreams, hearing grandmother speak. The busyness is to ensure, and I say it's evading because it is. That's our acceptance of the conditioning. We are not comfortable with the quiet in our own brain. We are not comfortable. It's rare unless I'm deliberately studying. But even if I'm here 6, 7, 8 hours a day, the TV or the laptop only comes on when it's purposeful, when I am about to do something. But some people cannot sit in an apartment in pure quiet. They have to have the music playing in the background. They have to have the TV playing as background noise. They have to have the white noise from their TV on at night. They cannot sleep in pure dark and in pure still and in pure quiet. This is the evading. This is the evading. This card teaches us that it is necessary for us to be still. The busyness is a condition. The stillness is a requirement so that we can process. We can intuit. We can integrate. Isn't that what the blend card said? The integration of all that is already within you. Most of the time, you don't need a reading. I'll be honest. Now, I need y'all to get readings, but most of the time, you don't need a reading. Most of the time, you need to sit your ass still in an environment that is new to you so that you can finally hear spirit speak again. That's what you need. Most of the time, you don't need them. Why do I say most of the time you don't need a reading? Because the grandmother card and the blend card says what? Everything that you need, every experience that you have ever had in this life and the past, every ounce of wisdom acquired by your ancestors is present right now in you. You understand? Anyway, that's a hella card. That's your homework assignment. Get somewhere for 3 hours without your phone. Can you leave your phone at the house? I do that regularly, by the way, because I'll be tempted to pick up the phone if I take it with me all the time. Sometimes I'm saying, okay, I'm going to just make a run for 30 minutes or an hour. I'm going to leave my phone at the house. I'm going to turn the music off in my car. I'm going to let the window down in my car. I'm going to be present. You understand? So that's that card. You understand? Okay. Moving right along. Okay, we making progress. The next card, I just thought about how new babies sleep when they have just been born. Why do they sleep like that, baby? Lolita, why do they sleep 16 hours a day? What does science tell us about why babies need 16 hours a day, newborns? It is because what? They are integrating. They are processing, integrating everything that they've seen and observed in that day. When they sleep, that's when they're processing it. That's when the synaptic activity is happening. When they are processing everything that came into their senses during the day. Because what do we say? From 0 to 2, a child will learn more from 0 to 2 than they will learn in their entire lifetime. It's the sleep that allows them to integrate. It is the sleep that allows them to form new ideas. Sleep. This is a whole sermon I could do because it's been my soapbox for a lot of years. I raised a child, you feel me? So it was always my soapbox. My daughter never had a TV in her room. Never, not one time. She never had a nightlight in her room because sleep was my obsession, right? And as adults, you'll hear people say, oh, I could survive off 6 hours. I could survive off 4 hours. But studies have shown that a plethora of harmful side effects come from that idea. But one of the things that you deny yourself is the opportunity to form new ideas and create new synaptic connections when you deny yourself 8 hours of sleep. You deny yourself intelligence. You deny yourself because The whole idea that somehow we become hardwired at 12 or 13 years old and it becomes more difficult for us to learn new ideas, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. Do you understand? There's bullshit, there's conditioning to get you to accept, quote, the difficulty of learning new things. Like, yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yes, the fuck you can. Yeah, you can. All the way up until they got their feet, their bodies back in the ground. You feel me? But what science has shown is that the longer you deny yourself a full 8 hours, you deny yourself the ability to consolidate learned ideas, new ideas. Did you read an article? Does it become a part of who you are? Does it become something accepted? Do you has it created, consolidated this new synaptic connection? You feel me? I won't go off on a diatribe, but that's what that's about. Okay. So the next card, excuse me, it's from the Arrows suit. So the Arrows suit in this deck is the swords in the traditional deck. Now, the swords in the traditional deck is mostly like scary, doom and gloom, like warning cards and shit. You feel me? These cards, the arrows, the suit of arrows, do come with some things to look out for, but they aren't doom and gloom. They don't come off as warnings as much as they are trying to bring you into present awareness, trying to help to alert you of what probabilities may arise if you are not presently aware. Okay, so the next card is the 6 of arrows. So I'll show you the card briefly. Okay, that's the 6 of arrows. Excuse me. You know what? Okay. The name of this card is End Struggle. Okay. It's just this theme throughout this read. We just read the blend card. The opening prayer for this card says, I honor myself by taking time now to reflect on that which I have done. I honor myself by taking the time now to reflect on what I have done. Oh, yeah, I love this prayer. So this card comes with a prayer. I won't read the whole prayer, but basically what it's saying is I take time, you understand, to reflect. That's what the previous card was saying. The integration card is about what? Meditation, reflection, integration, right? This card says I take the time that I needed. I have just come out of a struggle. That's what this card is talking about. You saw the broken arrow at the bottom of the card, right? I have just endured or survived this struggle. I've just endured or survived this struggle. So now I'm going to take the time to reflect on this challenge I've just met, on this thing I've just persevered through. Sound familiar? Y'all walked with me all week last week. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? It says, though I can care for myself, I must find a way in which that self-caring can encompass others. I love that, right? Okay. So this card, the overall lesson for this card is that this reflection is necessary. Oh my God. Remember 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I did our New Year's. It said, it was like Happy New Year. It was entitled Happy New Year or something like that. And I talked about like the vision for the temple in this year, what it has to encompass, what it is we have to do. What does the jack move look like that we're talking about trying to pull? You feel me? Reflecting on the previous year. What did we accomplish in the previous year? Individually and as a whole, what did we accomplish in the previous year? This card is saying, I'm taking the time. I've just persevered some shit. I just met a challenge. I persevered. I need a minute. I need to relax. I need to chill for a minute because the next period coming is, quote, radically expansive. I took all week off last week after what happened. Y'all, if y'all don't know what happened, y'all can go back into the videos from the last 3 or 4 videos. After what happened last week, I was only going to take 2 days off. I took a week off. You feel me? So this card really stood out. Now I pulled this deck. I pulled this reading on the full moon, which I believe was last Wednesday. I think it was last Wednesday. But this card, especially reading it again today after the week has passed, I'm like, damn. It's like, I just persevered. I just surmounted some shit. You understand? Now I need a minute. I need a minute to integrate. I need a minute to process. And this says that this processing period, this integration period is necessary because you, quote, are entering a radically expansive period. What have I been saying for a long time, since 2019, but especially since we kicked the doors open of 2024 in preparation for 2024. This year can change everything. This year promises to change everything. And the determining factor, the defining factor for what that change looks like is us. Because is it going to be us, the global family, us, conscious thinking human beings, us, willful, deliberate participants in the creation of the future? Is it going to be us that holds the reins of this power that is promised in Pluto and Aquarius meeting for the first time in 277 years? Or are we going to default and let our opposition grab a hold of the reins? We are the determining factor for what this future will look like. And our actionable discernment is what will make that definitive. You feel me? What did I tell you about the 2 astrologers? They said that the year 2023 through 2025, 1,000 years from now, people will look back to the year 2023 and 2025 and say, that is when the 21st century started. This is when the 21st century began. What is it that we're creating right now in real time? And she says here, rest up. Y'all think 2020 through 2023 was rough. It was a rough patch for everybody. This is what she's saying. We just survived a rough patch, whether that's in your immediate life or globally, collectively, we survived a global pandemic. She's saying, rest the fuck up. Integrate, meditate, rest, relax, so that you can garner the epiphanies that I have for you that prepare you for this radically expansive period that you all are leaping forward into, boo. I don't know if you heard, but that was a word. You feel me? I'm going to read the rest of this card because it's short. It says, with the help of others, with the help of others. What else am I harping on all the time with y'all? We can't be doing this shit by ourselves no more. The period of us in isolation, in our little places, doing our little manifestations and our little rituals and our full moon rituals and our new moon rituals. And we may have a clique of 3 girls. And that shit is done. That's the preparation. Learning how to do it. The repetition of ritual. Whatever. Learning how to execute. But honey, this card here say, alert the crew. Corral the clique. Okay? Alert the crew. Corral the clique. What have I been harping on for over a year and a half? I said, November 19th of 2024, we have to stage an event that will send shockwaves through the whole goddamn planet. Haven't I been saying that for a year and a half, 2 years? What is the jack move we gonna pull in this motherfucker on November 19th of 2024? I keep saying, is it gonna be a revival of witches? Is it gonna be, like we gotta come up with a name, and I can't create the shit by myself. I can't even imagine it in my own brain by myself. Can we pull our heads together and say, this the jack move we gonna pull? You know what I'm saying? Some people don't like the word witch, but they are magical workers. They are priests in ancestral traditions. They are shamans in indigenous ancestral traditions. They magic workers. Can we create, you know what I'm saying, the Global Federation of Ancestral Magical Workers under the mother or some shit? You feel me? Shit, we got to come up with something fly. You feel me? That alerts the clique, that calls the crew to task, and everybody on the whole planet, as soon as they hear whatever it is, they know, oh, this applies to me. Oh, they talking about me. And I'm on deck. Even if I'm the fucking New Zealand somewhere, I'm on deck. What's the call? What we need to do. You feel me? Because I'm telling you, y'all don't know it, because we here in America, and the propaganda is worse here than anywhere else on earth. Anywhere, the propaganda is more prolific and dense than any place on earth. We here are subdued by the proliferation of propaganda in our consciousness. You feel me? That's deliberate. Because everywhere on earth, motherfuckers who are looking for a way out, looking for a solution, looking for an answer, looking for a way to understand their way forward, consistently saying, we trying to see what y'all doing over here. What they got, what's about to pop off in America, what they got going over here, what the people on the ground got going on. What black people saying on the ground in America, what colonized people, what native people saying in America. We trying to see what jumped the fuck off over here so we can know how to move. That's not my imagination. That's always been the case. It's always, as long as we've been struggling in America, motherfuckers around the country been saying these motherfuckers are, because they're the most oppressed. It's insidiously oppressed. We don't know we oppressed. We in shiny cages. You feel me? We in a glass menagerie, drowning in a glass menagerie, thinking we got it made in the shade. You feel me? Meanwhile, a 17-year-old girl from South Korea saying, look, we watching black women. She said that verbatim in a message she sent to me. We watching y'all. Thank you for reading these books. I'm telling all my friends about these books that you done read on your channel. We watching y'all, black women. That's what she said. That's what she said. People are watching us. So that's why I got another live plan. Because this bullshit happening in so-called pop culture over the last 48, 72 hours has got me in my feelings, and I never get involved in that shit. But this madness between Nicki Minaj and Meg the Stallion, and I saw black women, 3 young black women calling themselves fans of Nicki, desecrating Meg the Stallion's mother's grave today. Child, vandalizing and standing on top of the woman's gravestone, twerking, vandalizing Meg the Stallion's mother's graveyard in their, quote, solidarity with Nicki Minaj. The sickness is so deep. The madness is so deep. That shit shook me to my core, because I don't pay no attention to none of that dumbass shit. You feel me? None of that shit. You feel me? It's a distraction, because y'all know my position. All media, is an instrument of the state. I don't give a fuck whether they are knowledgeable or ignorant. Instruments of the state, they are still instruments of the state. And so I was clear. All this shit with hip hop and the Illuminati takeover of hip hop and all this shit, and it's distraction. It's distraction. You feel me? But watching these young women, beautiful, otherwise seemingly normal looking young women, get so invested in this madness that they would shame themselves, shame their ancestors, be so detached from the vileness of that action. I'm like, God damn, this is happening. It's dominating the discussion on so many social media sites. Like, we are actively watching 3 genocides unfold on the planet Earth right now in real time. Like this here in the United States, Black women who have always been the cutting edge, who have always been on the forefront of anything fucking progressive in this country. Always, 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 always. Since we motherfucking been here. Black women have always been at the forefront. Montgomery bus boycotts, that wasn't Martin Luther King, boo. There was a bunch of regular, everyday Black working class women that set that shit the fuck off. Civil rights movement boycotts, restaurant boycotts throughout the South, massive freaking demonstrations in the thousands and thousands of people. The March on Washington was organized by African working class women. Black women have always been at the forefront of anything radical and progressive in this country. Here we are in 2024 watching 2 Black women who have the, girl, they say Nicki Minaj got 256 million followers. Imagine the reach that she could potentially have on the side of good. I'm clear when I see this shit. Whether she is willing or she just foolish and ignorant, she is an instrument of the state. She is a weapon of the state. And the outcome had regular, everyday, working class Black women desecrating some African woman's gravesite. Meanwhile, I guarantee you, they suffering from the same situation everybody in this country suffering from. Barely able to pay the rent, barely able to pay the bills, barely able to garnish a living wage, barely able to have food that is identifiable as something nutritious. But they would take time out of their day. Child, that shit hurt my feelings today. I don't ever speak, y'all rarely ever hear me speak about anything happening in pop culture. That shit hurt my feelings today. That shit like fucked with my spirit today. That was the first thing I saw on Instagram when I woke up this morning. I said, what the hell? Oh my God. And the first thing I thought was like, damn, aren't we in the middle of the most outrageous and dangerous and infamous election year in the history of this country? Aren't we in the middle of that shit right now? This is what you thought to do with your time. Aren't we in the apex of the most violent period on earth? 3 active genocides. What did they say? 1 million people in the Democratic Republic of Congo living in tents in exile. Active femicide being executed in real time right now in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And these women are eliciting the response of victimized people, poor working class people, to go and desecrate some ancestors' goddamn grave. Ooh, that shit fucked with my spirit all day today. I don't know how easily I'm gonna be able to get over that shit. I haven't heard that, Chloe Dior. I haven't heard that. I haven't watched any headlines. I haven't heard that. I hope that's not the case. Chloe Dior says that didn't the U.S. attack Iran today? I had not heard that. But I've been off and on the news trying to get some work done for the temple and make sure I was in a position to post for today or whatever. So I have not heard that. I'll have to follow up on the headlines after I get off this call. But anyway, I just said that because this card here, you understand? This card, this whole read for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence is like, y'all right where y'all need to be. Y'all doing exactly what y'all need to be doing. Be sure to be mindful. Check your ego every day. Check your ego through acts of discernment that you ain't that you ain't out here doing no dumb shit or saying no dumb shit. Check your ego. Make sure that your ego does not have you in a position where you are harmful energetically or spiritual to people because they ain't where you think they should be, or they ain't doing what you think they need to be, or they ain't supporting you the way you think they need to be. This is what the cards say. The reading says these acts of discernment are going to strengthen our collective intuition. That's what the cards say. It's going to strengthen our collective intuition. This last card says you need the help of others. I ain't talking about a person here or a person there or a homie here or a homie there. When this thing happened with this sister this past weekend that I told y'all about, several of y'all was like, yes, this is just saying to us that we really need to strengthen our lifelines, that we need to expand our lifelines, that we need to make sure that we're okay in the event of crisis, right? This thing says here, with the help of others, you are going to know life from a greater perspective. Look ahead. Leave all broken dreams behind. Why? Because all the other cards keep saying over and over and over again, bitch, you done persevere. You understand? You done what's the word I'm looking for? You done leaped over hurdles in your way. What do the other cards say? The Five of Pipes said, right? Even as obstacles in the form of forests are going to keep presenting themselves, always call on the universe, lure the universe to assist you in your what? This radically expansive new period that you are leaping into. That's what the cards say. You understand? Yes. Trust the flow of life as it takes you forward. Again, it's a good time to meditate. Seek higher wisdom. Stop the flow of old thoughts. Look into the light. You had to reach this plateau. Listen, y'all. Oh my God. You had to reach this plateau before you could climb higher. I have been in my feelings about the temple, about the business aspect of the temple, about all this tumultuous, monotonous, laborious ass paperwork ass shit. I hate it. It's the perpetual thorn in my side. I hate bureaucratic shit. I hate it. I hate it. Spirit is like, and I had been really mean with myself. Okay, you know you need to get this done. You know you need to get this done. Spirit say you needed this plateau. Get ready. You needed this plateau. You needed this moment. A lot has happened. You have persevered. You have transversed through a lot. Take the time that the plateau is offering you to take a break, to rest up, to integrate. Because it's coming. You understand? You needed this plateau before you could climb higher. Your first goal is reached. Your sights must be set higher. Cast away fear and doubt as you flow forward towards the dawn of a new age, baby. Cast away fear and doubt as you flow forward toward the dawn of a new age. That's the card. You understand? I still got 2 more cards. Fuck. I'm going to read these hella fast. Y'all going to be mad. But I got 2 more cards. But these cards are awesome. Okay? Oh, shit. I missed a card. Damn. So I got 3 more cards. Yeah. And this is a reiteration. I ain't even got to spend a lot of time with this card. This is the 2 of arrows. So this is another swords card. The one I just read was the 6 of arrows. This is the 2 of arrows. I love this card. You see grandmother spirit at the top there. You see the coyote on the arm. You see the buffalo below. You see that? I'm going to show that to y'all on the other stream. Y'all may not be able to see it for some reason. The screen. Okay, there you go. See the grandmother spirit up at the top of her, the coyote on her arm. You feel me? The buffalo below her arm. Y'all see that? This is the 2 of arrows. The name of the card is aim high. What did the last card just say? Always aim higher. As you traverse a goal, aim higher. As you reach a goal, aim. That's what the last card just said, right? This card says, always aim towards the highest vision. What is the highest vision? Whatever your heart's desires are that are aligned with the good of the whole. Because this card always says, baby, you are a part of the whole. You are important as a part of the whole. If you are in right alignment, the desires of your own heart will always align with the desires and the needs of the whole. Get what you want, baby. Get what you need for you. Because a well-rested, happy, blissful, ecstatic you can only benefit the whole. Okay? So aim high. You understand? Yes. This card also says, in aiming high, what did the very first card say? Trust you. Always trust you. Always trust you. That's what the first card said. The grandmother card said, trust you. That's your intuition. Trust you. Know that everything you need, every answer that you have ever sought is already there. Trust you. The exercise is what strengthens your intuition. The discernment, the actionable discernment is what strengthens your intuition. But trust you. Trust you. It will become easier to trust you once you do these actions, right? You develop this practice of integrating and blending. You understand? Integrating that which you have learned as an experience. You feel me? This card says that many people in this period in your life will come to you with suggestions and ideas. You understand? Teachings. You are the bottom line. Trust you. Discern what's for you and what ain't for you. You understand? And this card actually says, when you trust this, I'm gonna quote it. As you aim high, your higher self or soul is called to assist you. Who is that higher self? She is the magical grandmother. Come on in the room with this deck. She is the magical grandmother who brings plenty to your life. That's your first card for the temple reading. All the way back to the first card. It says what? Who is your higher self? Who is your higher self? Who is your higher self? It's your magical grandmother who brings plenty to your life. She is that part of you that possesses all the wisdom of the ages. That's what that card say. See, grandmother tree, integrating while you sleeping. Who is your higher self? It's her within you. She who brings plenty to your life. She is that part of you that possesses all the wisdom of the ages. So trust you. Trust you. You understand? This portion of yourself is trying her best to activate you towards providing well for yourself. Listen to her right now. Yo, big mama is saying, look, listen, I got a word, y'all. Your big mama, if she's no longer living, my big mama is no longer living. My big mama is saying to me, you have to receive the rest I did not. What did this card just say? Honey, it says your higher self, who is your grandmother, who is the magical grandmother, who possesses all the wisdom of all the ages, is the higher portion of yourself trying her best to activate you towards providing well for yourself. Exhausted woman, wiped out woman, exploited woman, exhausted mother, wiped out mother. She said, your big mama is saying, you rest for the rest I could not get. You sleep for the sleep I could not get. You take naps, boo, and don't feel no kind of way about it for the naps I was denied. You take the opportunities to play that were denied me. You take the opportunities to lay on the sand by the beach, to integrate for those opportunities I was robbed of. That's what this card says. That's what this card says. You understand? I love that. I love that. Why does she need the rest? The grandmother within yourself. Why does she need the relaxation? Why does she need the opportunity to meditate? Why does she need the opportunity to play? Huh? It is because she is trying to allow you to unlock the wisdom that of all the ages that only she possesses. Come on in if you heard the word. Only she possesses the wisdom of all the ages. And she trying to put you on game, but your ass won't sit still. Your ass won't take a break. Your ass won't take a motherfucking vacation. Your ass won't leave the phone at the house. Okay? She said, I'm trying to put you on game, but you have to unbusy yourself. You have to unburden yourself, boo, so that you can hear me. Okay? All right. Moving right along. Okay. The ecstasy card, otherwise known as the lover's card in the traditional deck. I want y'all to take a good look at this picture. Because just like every person who divines, who is a reader of some kind, right? Only about 3 things people ever ask us about. It's about love, like a boo, that kind of love. Like a boo, you feel me? A career change, you feel me? Or some money. It's the only reason we get calls. It's about boos, money, or career. You feel me? And so the lover's card is one of those cards that when it falls, it's called the ecstasy card in this deck, right? Every time the lover's card falls, people are like, ooh, does that mean a boo coming? Does that mean a boo coming? Look at this card. Look at this card closely. Because the ecstasy card, at least from the perspective of this deck, could be a boo. You feel me? Could very well be a boo. Could be a person that is a reflection of your soul's yearning in the right now. However, as long as I've been reading this deck since it's been about 2016, I find that that's rarely the lover being called to by this card. It's rarely the lover being called to by this card. So if this reading is the reading of the temple, the first reading of the new year of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, what is the lover that the temple is attempting to call into the space? What is the lover that the ecstasy card is speaking to right now? Right? This card for individuals. I keep showing y'all this card because this card is kind of elusive, right? But this card always appears to me, even before I understood or read the card, always looks like the same person seeing different reflections of herself or his self. It looks like the same person staring in a mirror is what it looks like. Different attributes of that person staring into the mirror, right? This card is about equilibrium. This card is about so much of what this whole read was about. Reciprocity. What did our what was the card? It was our exemplar of the Stones card. What did that card talk about? It talked about relearning, remembering the cyclical relationship that we have to the mother in order to ensure that there is always plenty for all, right? That is the harmony, that is the equilibrium, that is the balance that is always talked about, right? In this deck, in life, right? And so this card is talking about the masculine and feminine aspects that exist within all of us. Is the male and the female that exists within each of us in harmony? Are we in harmony with ourselves? That's what this card is asking. Are we in is there a harmony between the masculine and feminine that exists within each of us, the yin and the yang that exists within each of us? And if there is not, how do we bring that disharmony back into alignment, back into harmony, right? Let's see. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. One thing I like about this card, especially now, child. Listen, this is not a small card. The card is called the ecstasy card. The card is about universal harmony, balance, equilibrium, so cyclicity, right? The cycling in and out, the harmonious cycling in and out of phases that brings us to one aspect of equilibrium or another, right? This card is so important because it is so easy. I think it's distractionary personally. It is so easy for us to be distracted by our longing for love, the longing for affirmation that comes from an intimate partner relationship. We long for that. I long for that. Right? But this card, the reason I say that that's distractionary is because, at least now in this period, this card causes us to look at ourselves within the whole. Causes us to look at ourselves within the whole, within the context of the whole. So while we may, quote, long for a boo, long for the affirmation that only comes from an intimate interpersonal relationship with another in the form of a lover, this card is asking us a myriad of things. Are you at peace with yourself? Is the flow in and out of your heart space balanced? Are you giving more than you are being poured into? Are you pouring from more than you are being poured into? Remember the discussion earlier about the 3 women that I read for this week who were busy, even as they had massive, gigumongous tasks that they were daily dealing with. They were still trying to, quote, keep busy. Are you pouring from more than you are receiving into? This card is forcing you to ask yourself that. Are you busy more than you are still and reflective and meditative and relaxed? This card is also asking not only of the internal you, are you at peace? Are you balanced? Not are you content? Are you at peace? And peace only comes through harmonious balance and equilibrium. Are you at peace or are you uneasy? And if you are uneasy, is it something that is from within making you uneasy? Is it the within in its response to the external environment that's making you uneasy? Is it that immediate environment that's making you uneasy? Or is it the global environment that's making you uneasy? Now, why I'm saying this about the ecstasy card, because it sounds gloomy. You feel me? But this card says everything we need is within. That our super sexual energy, which is the Listen, our super sexual energy, which is the only way to enlightenment. That's what she say. Feel me? It is the only way to enlightenment is to awake the sleeping serpent at the base of our spine. So ain't none of us balanced within. We can think we balance within. We can think we experiencing a harmonious union between our internal masculine and feminine. I guarantee you we are not. I guarantee you we are not. You understand? Because she said it is only through the awakening of the sleeping serpent that we can truly reach harmonious equilibrium within. And once that harmonious equilibrium from within is reached in the individual and it spreads out among the many, can the serpent of the earth awaken? You understand? And the question, because each major arcana comes with a question. The way to know if you are experiencing, divine equilibrium between your masculine and your internal masculine and feminine, your internal lovers, because this is the mirror. This is you and your own personal lover, the lover within. Is there a person within you that you never show the world? Is there a person within you? Y'all know I'm talking about this shit all the time because I done told y'all who my inner person is. I ain't let nobody see her yet, but I've at least admitted who she is. She the pole dancer. She the stripper. She is the porn, the conscious, spiritual, ecstatic pornography director. That's who she is. She is the pole dancer, the stripper. You feel? That's my internal me. You feel me? That I never show the world, right? Is there a person within you that you never show the world? Can you love her enough to coax her out? Can you love her enough? The dark, the quote ugly, the secret heart's desire that I'm always telling you, somebody else's salvation is in that secret you keeping. That person you holding hostage in the cage of your heart. Somebody else in the world is going to be like, oh my God, I thought I was the only person feeling this way. But they will never have that experience if you don't let her out. This question for this card says, is there a person within you that you never show the world for fear of judgment or whatever? Can you love her? Because she need to come out too. She need to come out too. Can you love her enough to coax her out? Understand? Then there's an exercise. I like this exercise because it's revealing. It says, write a list of the 10 most influential men in your life. If you are a woman, if you're a man, it calls you to do the same, but with the opposite. Write a list of the 10 most influential men in your life. It can be famous people. It can be your personal life. Next to each name, write 3 words describing your feelings about them. What is the composite personality of that male within yourself? You will know by the descriptions you have written. What is this saying? This is saying what I said to y'all earlier. When I said, if I had been 10 years old with the common narrative that exists in the world today, somebody would have called me trans, would have said I was born in the wrong body, that I needed surgery and hormones to correct my gender dysmorphia. When in actuality, what I was experiencing and what these young girls were experiencing who were, quote, rock band groupies, or who else did I mention? The similarity in all of these things is what I was attracted to in males, what I was attracted to following behind musicians all over the place, being a convicted follower of my male friend musicians. What I was longing for, what these babies were longing for, was the freedom that they are inherently afforded. I want that. I want that. That is what I am desiring. I think it's them. It's not them. It's what they're experiencing, which is unbridled freedom. Freedom was what we were desiring. Freedom is what we have been deprived of as women, you see. And it comes out in a myriad of ways. What is the Housewives shows is an expression of the desperation, the need for freedom. freedom. We call we call all kind of shit. But that's why we get neurotically attached to, quote, famous men. These women making asses of themselves in public based on their relationship to some dude who just halfway interested or halfway displays any kind of real love for them or whatever. They box each other over base level dudes. You feel me? Freedom is what we are desiring. Power is what we want. Power is what we want. The chairman of the organization I used to be in used to say it butt naked all the time, and it never registered until now. Power is the most infectious aphrodisiac. Power is the greatest aphrodisiac. We want power, but we too, as women, always associate power with masculinity. So we be chasing behind fucking men. We be chased because what do we grow up assuming? Our value as women is always tied to the man in our proximity. Our value as women is always tied to, I'm daddy's little girl, I'm somebody baby mama, I'm somebody wife. You feel me? Our value for an age has been placed squarely within the proximity of some male that we are attached to. Power is what we are lusting for. Freedom is what we are lusting for. This card tells you, right, as if you are a female, the 10 most influential men in your life. Right next to them, the characteristics that you think define them. Why these characteristics? Because you resonate with them. They already exist within you. Your masculine that you have been keeping suppressed for fear that some motherfucker gonna call you masculine. Oh, for fear that somebody is going to say you being too boyish, you being a tomboy, you being a man hater, you being a lesbian, you being a dyke, you being a what else they call you, a tomboy acting man hater. You feel me? For fear that your femininity will be called into question, you suppress your divine masculine lover within. Yes, you do. You suppress your divine masculine lover within, denying yourself divine harmony and equilibrium from within so that you can be a whole human when you step into every space. So you suppress that divine masculine. You suppress, as a woman, that divine masculine. You understand? For fear of ridicule, for fear of rejection, for fear of loneliness, or whatever the fuck. You feel me? And everything that you point out as an admirable quality of some man that you hold in high regard is something that already exists within you, begging for freedom, baby, begging to get out, begging for their time on the block. Now, for those of you who are male, who are listening to this reading, the same applies to you. Because what patriarchy has done to women that has them deny, suppress, encage, imprison the divine masculine housed within each and every one of us. Patriarchy does the exact opposite to you. Denies you tenderness, denies you genuine, soft affection, denies you the opportunity to rest in your divine, your sacred feminine. You understand? Denies you the opportunity to be one with your mother through her daughter who lives in you. The divine feminine in you is the mother to the daughter. What did Barbara Moore say? By biology, all men are half females. All males are half female. Because she crafted you out of her body. And she wants for you what she wants for her daughters. Love and rest and relaxation and joyful worship and child to experience the environment and talk to the animals and live like an elemental being connected with the one through sacred unity with her daughters. So this card is for everybody. It ain't just for women. Like the cards say, if you are a male, write the 10 most influential women you can think of. those qualities you have probably been that you can recognize in these famous women that have influenced your life, you have probably been suppressing in yourself. You see, that's a hell of a card. I'm sorry I didn't tell nobody I was gonna have a boo, because that ain't the temple ain't getting no boo. You feel me? So that ain't what the card was speaking to today. Feel me? The card is saying, honey, is there a boo within you that you can love enough to let loose, to experience some freedom? Is there a boo within you that you have been holding hostage for fear of ridicule, judgment? Let your boo loose. Let her do her thing. Let him do his thing. That's a hell of a card. I don't know if y'all rocking with me because I've been on here too motherfucking long. I'm gonna have to reschedule this next live too, child. I've been talking to y'all for 3 hours. Last card of this read for the first read of the year for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. The last card. This is the 5 of Stones. So we had a lot of stone cards in this read, which is good because the stone cards always represent not only your material wealth. See the women dancing in the background? They surrounded by stones. You understand? Now, in Native culture, you should know, like, ceremonial stones are typically called grandfather stones. So you see these little stones back here and they look like little people. You feel me? The women dancing, and it looks like some kind of ceremony where the woman in white, who I'm assuming is a teacher, is giving something to the student. And see how their baskets is bountiful with food. You feel me? There's a lot going on in this wonderful card. This suit, the stones, is not only, because in the traditional deck, your pentacles and your coins are about your material wealth, period. Your material wealth, what you got. In this deck, your stones cards is not only about your material wealth, it is about all of your resources, human resources, experiences that have gotten to where you are in this period with these material resources, the resources that you use to create. You understand? So this is a really dynamic suit. So this card is called the giveaway. This is this is a good way to end the reading, I guess. The giveaway. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh Lord. The giveaway. Okay. Ooh, child. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you. So, I told y'all that I had, when I very first started taking on in my own personal practice, this idea of acknowledging my birth mother as God, and I haven't been as disciplined about saying it, but I used to start every time I would do a presentation or whatever. I'd say the first thing I want to say is I want to thank my God, known as Jacqueline Jeanette Cook when she was born, Jacqueline Jeanette Cook, for saying yes to my life when she could have said no. For without her, I would be unable to fulfill my purpose. I would be unable to fulfill my destiny in this life. Thank God, known as Jacqueline Jeanette Cook. That's my mama. My mama is the first God on earth. You feel me? On in my life, right? And so I said, as a part of my discipline, I wanted to. The first thing that I did was, even though I celebrate my birthday, you can ask the people who attended my birthday party this year. I do not ask for gifts. I gave gifts to everybody that attended my birthday party. But the first thing that I do, I don't celebrate Mother's Day on Mother's Day anymore, because that's a whole part of my political brain, like destroying the traditions of capitalists and capitalism and creating our own traditions. So for, I think, 5 years now, every year on my birthday, I give my mother her Mother's Day gift because I'm the oldest. So my mother became a mother the first time the day I was born. So every day on my birthday, I send my mother a Mother's Day gift, right? That is how you create new traditions. You create new culture in action, in real time. I don't celebrate Mother's Day. I celebrate my mama's Mother's Day on the day that I was born as her firstborn, right? And so I'm prefacing that way because this card, the giveaway, the Five of Stones, this card is about reimagining what we may see as sacrifice, right? So one of the things in the process of me establishing new, tradition, like giving my mother Mother's Day gift on my birthday, I was like, I eventually want to get to this place in my discipline where I can do what I did when I was a Christian. I was like, well, damn, I need to be giving 10% of my income to my mama. If I believe what I say, that my mother is God, my mother is my God on earth, I would not exist as you know me in this carnation without my mama. That's it, right? And if I believe that, then I need to start giving 10% of my income, just like I did to this fictitious white dude on the cross. As long as I was in the church, I need to start giving 10% of my income to my mama, right? And I'll be honest, that is a discipline I have not been as disciplined about doing. Every now and again, I'll do that. I am very, very methodical about the Mother's Day thing. That is still the 10% is still a discipline I'm working up to. So I have to be straight up about that, right? But this card is talking about that. It is talking about seeing what we might think in our past is like a sacrifice, like paying tithes or making offerings, seeing it in a different way, seeing it again as a part of the what the exemplar of the stones talked about, which is working according to the mother's principles in universal cyclicity, right? The harmonizing, the balancing, the universal reciprocity, the giving and receiving, right? In a way that always ensures that there is plenty for all. This card is really reiterating that, saying that it is important in this period to, and I know it is easier said than done. Oh my God. There was one more thing I want to say about the last card. I'm sorry. The ecstasy card. I cannot forget this. There was one more thing I wanted to say about the ecstasy card. The ecstasy card really challenges you to, so yes, it's talking about like coaxing out the hidden lover. But one of the other things is only giving the power of your sexual energy, your creative energy, your money, which is your biggest three power sources, only giving your sexual, creative, or monetary power to those things that resonate with your beliefs. It says, is this person I'm considering making love to someone that I aspire to be? Do they have ideas and characteristics that I strive to have? Or are they below? Are they reflections of my past self? It asks you, do you give your money to institutions, organizations, businesses that are in alignment with what you say your beliefs are? I wanted to reiterate that because of where we are living right now, how we are living in the world right now, with this thing happening in the Middle East, with this thing happening in the DRC. Do you give your money to institutions, businesses, corporations that are in alignment with or are opposing to the ideas that you say you hold? That is another thing that was really important about the ecstasy card. Now, moving forward, this last card, Five of Stones, is just reiterating that. Being able to, in any moment, no matter what you're going through, not adopting a feeling of like poverty or lack, but instead saying, I'm taking stock. I'm taking stock of what I have. I'm being grateful for what I currently have, appreciating how you got to where you are, and then reimagining the future, right? And it's saying that one of the best ways to do that is to work with your hands to produce something creatively and give it away. That helps to alleviate this feeling of lack or need or poverty, is to create something with your hands from your heart. Create something with your hands from your heart and then give it away. This is the exercise that comes with that card. It says do that, and you will see that the feeling that you have, if you have it, of lack or of poverty or of like scarcity, like I talked about earlier, right? With the exemplar of the stones. What did the exemplar of the stones said? No matter what the fuck is happening around the world, there is always enough. Scarcity is a myth. It's an illusion. It's a lie. The reason that we do without is not because of scarcity. Okay, that's what that card is saying. That card is saying that in a gentle way. The reason that we do without is not because of scarcity. It's because of systems. Okay? It's because of principalities and powers. You feel me? But there is always enough. Now, we have to move and create practices of reestablishing cyclical harmony with the principles of the mother to ensure that there is always enough, whatever that work looks like, in reestablishing cyclical harmony with the mother according to her principles. But this last card says, do something as simple as creating something with your hands. Do it out of pure love, and then identify somebody to gift it to. Give it, and you will see as you give, that feeling of urgency, that feeling of scarcity, that feeling of poverty will dissipate. It will be alleviated because there is always enough. See this card? What is the card? Look at the pictures on the card. Right? It's happy. See, there's bounty everywhere. There's food overflowing in the baskets on the ground. The person is giving away something that she has crafted to another. The women are celebrating in the background in a joyous dance, and they are surrounded by the stones. What did the other cards say? Our ancestors. What did the card say? The card said that our ancestors are what? The stones, the dirt, the plants, the food that we ingest. Our ancestors are us. We are our ancestors, right? And this card says you are never without. Refocus, reimagine, repurpose, and give something to someone else so that you know that you are a part of the great cycle. What you give is coming back all the time, all the time, all the time. Do it with certainty. Do it with certainty. Whew, child. That was a read. So, those of you who hung in, y'all are gangsters, revolutionary rock stars. Yes, you are. That was a long read. I am winded and I am tired and I am going to eat. So I'm going to change the time of this next live so I can prepare. It'll probably be till later because it's a deep one. And I might even hold off. I might even reschedule it all. I might reschedule it all together. Because that is one that is it is a studious topic. I'm going to be like reading from notes and stuff. So I might reserve that for another day. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning. Hopefully that powerful, it was powerful for me. Hopefully that reading spoke to you, something you were able to extract something of, profound purpose and usefulness in your personal life. With most divinations, the general rule of thumb is whatever the read yields, and I've given you several exercises, so there was homework. Go back and watch it. Whatever the reading yields, it is most potent to take action in the direction of that read within 7 days. Within 7 days of a divination, take some measurable action in that direction, right? So hopefully that was helpful. I am Cassandra Faye Floyd. Thank you so much, Christina Curtin. I am Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates. I am the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I want to thank you all for rocking with me for the first read of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence in the year 2024. And I will also encourage you to revisit, if you have the time, the live that I did. I think it was entitled Happy New Year or On the New Year or Welcome the New Year or something like that. You can't miss it. Okay. So revisit that one. I re-listened to it today. There was some pretty powerful gems in that joint. And in the meantime, I will see you guys tomorrow. I am definitely doing another live tomorrow. The one that I had scheduled for 4 o'clock, I am going to change to I don't know when, because this reading that I did took a lot out of me. I actually probably need to eat and take a nap. I may come on later on this evening, but if I do, it's going to be off the dome. It's not going to be one of my studious topics. In the meantime, I'll see y'all tomorrow for sure. All right, peace. See everybody later. Bye-bye.